Well, g'day there. I'm paddling my canoe. As you can see, I'm on the Murray River in Australia. Long weekend here in my state where they stop the whole state for a horse race. So I'm out here with three friends who are a little bit behind me to paddle down another section of the Great Murray River, and it's fantastic. We had a little bit of rain earlier, but the sun has come out and it's just beautiful. Chorus of birds in the background, beautiful river. But anyway, I wanted to have a chat to you guys and touch base with everybody and see how you're all doing. I was thinking of a story that is in the Gospels in the Bible where Jesus encounters a lame man. He couldn't walk, he was bedridden, and he had a mat that he would lay on each day, and he'd been on that mat for some 38 years. And Jesus approaches the man and asked him a question, and he says to this man, "Do you want to get well?" Seems almost a cruel question, doesn't it? To ask somebody who's ill, do they want to get well? Somebody with a disability, somebody with a sickness or a disease, do you want to get well? And yet, as I've got older and had more life experience, I've discovered that it's not really a cruel question at all. It's a very strategic question, because the fact is that many people who are not well don't want to get well. It may surprise you, but it's more common than you think. You see, people who have had an illness or a condition, one that has some sort of a name, they often find that that illness or that condition or that disability just becomes part of who they are, part of their identity. And they don't want to get well. And so it was a relevant question, do you want to get well? Sometimes it's easier just to play the victim than to be proactive with our health. We'll get back to that. But the man says to Jesus that he does want to get well, but he's had nobody to help him. Then Jesus says something even more surprising to this man. He says, "Well, get up." Again, it sounds almost cruel, doesn't it? Telling a lame man who cannot walk to get up. But that's what Jesus did. He told him to get up. And so the man gave it a try and stood to his feet, and he was healed. But it involved him taking some action in the process to get up and to do something, to make the decision that he did want to be well and to do something about it. I think there's so much we can learn from that little story, because I know in my own situation, if I wind the clock back a few months to earlier this year, I wouldn't have called myself sick, but I had very high blood pressure, and I'd had that high blood pressure for over 12 months. I was also overweight, and the doctor told me I had a fatty liver, that I was within a hair's breadth of being declared a diabetic, and I was at very least insulin resistant. I didn't even know what some of these things meant, but I had all these new names that the doctor had come out with. Doctors are good at that. They can have a look at you, they can do some tests, and they can put a name to conditions. So now you have a name for it. But what happens next? Well, I had this high blood pressure, so the doctor said we've got a pill for the blood pressure. So I did what I always used to do, just followed the doctor's advice, and I took the pill because I wanted to get rid of my blood pressure. And nothing happened, nothing changed. So I go back to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, no problem, what we're going to do is we're going to double the dose. We're going to give you a greater strength of tablet to deal with this. So I doubled the dose and took those tablets just like the doctor had told me. But again, nothing happened. So I go back to the doctor a third time, and this time the doctor says, well, we're going to give you 2 pills. Can you see a pattern here? But again, nothing happened. So it was at that point that I decided to, as it were, to get up. In other words, it's time for me to become my own doctor. Sounds almost dangerous, doesn't it? But it's not. It means accepting responsibility for your own health, your own life, your own well-being, and to do something about it. You might say, well, I don't know what to do about it. Well, there's your first port of call. Learn all you can. If the doctor's given you a tag, if he's told you you're diabetic, or you've got Crohn's disease, or you've got inflammation, or whatever tag the doctor gives you, I would go out and get every book I could on that subject and watch every YouTube movie by qualified doctors on that subject, and I would learn as much as I could, because you need to know. You need to have some knowledge behind you so that you know what's involved and how serious it is and what possible causes are. You see, doctors very seldom, in my experience, talk about causes. My doctor never even addressed once why I had high blood pressure. The topic was not even discussed, and either was the topic of diet. Never asked me what I eat, never asked me what my sleep pattern is like, never asked me what my lifestyle is like, what exercise I get, how often I get outside. None of those questions were even asked. All I was given was a tablet. And this is where I think I've got to be careful what I say here, because it could be taken the wrong way, but you know, you get given a tablet and you take the tablet and it's easy. In other words, it almost takes away your own responsibility for your disease, for your condition. And it's abdicated the whole of the responsibility to the doctor to give you the right tablet. Now, let me say right up front, I'm not against medication, and I'm very thankful that we have some marvellous medications available, and I'm not putting them down at all. But what I am saying is that you need to do more than simply take the tablet. You need to find out about this disease, and you need to look at your diet. You need to look seriously at the carnivore diet, which is a proper human diet, which is what I did. And you know what, if you haven't heard the story before, high blood pressure, I'm talking about 180 over whatever it was, consistently for 12 months. I was on Carnivore for 2 months and my blood pressure dropped to normal. I went off the tablets and I've never been on them since, and I've totally never had that high reading again. It has stayed low without any medication, and that's because I took some action. You see, sometimes I ask myself the question, what would have happened if I hadn't taken any action myself? Well, it's a scary question to think about, because I think I would still be taking those tablets from the doctor. I'd still be 45 pounds, 20 kilos overweight. I'd still be in the same place I was, going back to the doctor for more and more checkups and tests and blood tests and so on, and my life would be pretty much the same. Nothing changes, friends, until you decide to take some decisive action, and that's what I want you to hear.